There appear to be three main reasons why the crowd keeps beating the core, and why I'm really confident that the crowd is going to continue to beat the core in lots and lots of domains. The first one is that the crowd is just huge. There are billions of people.
Which is saying that Linus Torvalds said, with enough eyeballs, all bugs are shallow.
And he actually got that from Erik, who's another open source software advocate. What that means is if you bring enough people to look at a situation, someone is going to have the aha moment. Maybe a couple people in combination are going to have that aha moment, but just volume of attention, volume of contributions is huge. And the core, no matter how large or how well established the core is not anywhere near as big as the crowd.
So the first force is that with digital platforms, we just have access to a lot more eyeballs than we did before.
More eyeballs than have ever been brought to bear on problems before in human history. I don't think that's an overstatement.
So what's the second reason?
The second thing is that the crowd is evergreen. The crowd is always fresh. The crowd just graduated from school. The crowd is doing the cutting edge research on a topic. The crowd just finished up something where they got the absolute cutting edge knowledge. The core can kind of get stale.
That's one of the reasons why it's fun to be at a university. You're constantly getting a new crop of students who come in with fresh eyes, asking fresh questions, and often trained with some new techniques that I haven't been up to speed on, and it's good to hear from my own students.
So I love how the crowd is both huge and just constantly reinventing itself and constantly evergreen.
But you said there were three reasons.
And I think the third one is the most powerful of all. One of the most profound phenomenon is that over and over, the eureka, the solution, the breakthrough insight on a very tough problem comes from a domain very far from the home of the problem. In other words, here's a problem, we think it's a problem in genetics, and along comes, I don't know,
an oil fracking expert.
An oil fracking, a crystallographer, a metallurgist, a gambler.
A geometric mathematician.
Like, who knows? Like, pick a geeky domain, and someone says, oh, well, it turns out, yeah, that problem looks really similar to this one that I learned about a while ago or that I worked on or I made some progress on.
Just change the variables around?
Yeah, I can just I can mentally reformulate this problem over here. Everyone's been thinking about it as a genetics problem.
But why weren't the experts doing it that other way in the first place?
Because they were geneticists. They're trained to work on genetics problems in a specific set of ways with genetics techniques, and they probably have mental blinders on that make them say, "This we know what kind of problem this is."
It's the curse of knowledge that they know so much about a particular way of doing a problem that they become mentally blind to other ways of doing it. When I first thought about the core and the crowd, I was like, oh, it's experts against the non-experts. And that's the wrong way to think about it. It's one set of experts against a different set of experts. And often the experts you have are not the experts you need. There are people from some other perspective, and to them, they've been trained in a way that makes the problem you're working on really easy to solve.
What we're pitting against with the core and the crowd is one set of experts versus all sets of experts.
And what we have today that we didn't have before is a platform, a set of tools to reach all those other experts.
To reach all the experts.
For the first time in human history, we have a digital platform, the internet, that reaches not just thousands or millions, but literally billions of brains out there.
Kind of the entire community of human expertise, or a really good chunk of that.